Welcome everyone to the roundup of all the action at Masters Tour Undercity. For the final Masters Tour of the year, the players were flying by the seat of their pants. With several big nerfs just days before the tournament started, flexibility and quick decision making were crucial for our squad of over 400 deck builders. Quest Mage seemed more or less dead in the water, but whether Garrote Rogue would remain as the top deck was the question on everyone's mind. And those who could come up with that perfect combination of 120 cards would be handsomely rewarded, as at the end of this MT we would know the players promoting into Grand Masters next year. We had several relegated GMs looking to reclaim their spot in Trahezen, Floki and Kayla's Luna. We had relative unknowns looking to make a splash in Mighty, Badajim, Pom and Diggo. No matter what, the race to Grand Masters was shaping up to be a nail-biting affair. Kicking off the tournament was Izzat, a player instrumental to the running of the Pony Dojo, one of the most successful and vibrant practice groups Hearthstone has seen in a long time. But despite his excellent prepping and practicing, when it came down to it, Izzat fell victim to his own unstable power, with Cram Session drawing himself to death. An understandable but still fatal mistake, given the time restraint, which if nothing else showed the raw power of one of the key decks this Masters Tour, Mozaki Mage. Fury Hunter was off to another flying start this MT, even taking down fellow practice partner Jambray in round 2. While Jambray had what I thought was a very clever lineup with uniquely janky decks, he always makes me think that, why must you bait me every time, James? Well anyway, with this win, Fury's long shot at Grand Masters is looking more and more likely. Round 4 was a very important one. Both Pun and Norwis were very likely contenders for Grand Masters. Norwis was doing, well, what Norwis does, playing aggro. A decision that not only works annoyingly well versus me on ladder, but also put him in a great spot to target Pun's Druid. But when a double taunt Cenarian Ward hit the board, Pun scored, and Norwis didn't. Heading into day 2, a few of our questions were getting answered. Firstly, Garrote Rogue was still going full throttle with over a 60% win rate, only surpassed by Fell Demon Hunter. And secondly, so this is how Matty has a 70% win rate in Masters Tours. Despite a rocky performance on stream in MT Stormwind, Matty played one of the best series of the tournament this time, with incredibly flexible play on the Mozaki Mage and perfect discipline on the OTK Demon Hunter. You want to see Shao T beat Dragon Man? You want to see him do it again? In less than 30 minutes, Shao T simply dismantles Dragon Man, his deck's looking perfectly fine-tuned, his plays on point, his expression non-existent. The Terminator claims another victim, and sadly for Dragon Man, he'll be back. Ending day 2, we have our top 16 all laid out, with a bit of a shake-up compared to usual. China predictably with the highest representation, yes, but APAC coming in strong with more players than Europe in the top 16, firmly cementing that EU is washed and APAC simply superior. Hey, I don't make the stats, I just cherry pick them. With previous MT winner Fury Hunter in the top 16, he had already guaranteed his spot in Grand Masters, which is probably for the best, because there wasn't much for him to celebrate in this series. Some horrendously lucky draws for his opponent, and a missed, if extremely difficult, Garrote Rogue lethal meant that X-Blies can sleep soundly for the moment as the sole 2-time MT winner. And with that, our top 8 was set. With 4 of 6 Chinese players losing, it meant that APAC was the most represented region, surely guaranteeing the region's first MT victory. The first quarterfinal match was equal parts heartbreaking and jaw-dropping. This was the win-and-in match to Grand Masters for Jake Weiss, something that clearly meant a huge amount to him. But while he came close in a couple of games, Tianming was able to clean sweep his weapon rogue 3-0 in one of the coolest series I've seen in a good while. Turn 5 Garrote lethal, Il'gynoth OTK without even playing Kurtrus, and some fantastically fancy footwork on the Delete Warlock. While Give Please has a lot of impressive accomplishments, having the second highest number of wins in MT history, staying one step ahead of the metagame throughout his stay in Grandmasters, and his collection of black t-shirts rivaling that of That's Admirable, making it into the top 4 of an MT isn't an accolade he can boast. He comes close once again, but Xiaoti's lineup just looks better. While there were plenty of stomps in the final day of Masters Tour Undercity, stomping is not an absolute state and therefore is subject to gradation. For example, Tianming stomped Jake Weiss, but Zloy Gruzhin stomped Sherlock. His full anti-aggro lineup met the full aggro lineup, and, well, if you're squeamish, you might want to look away from Zloy Gruzhin taking this particular win. Like an oasis in the desert, we finally have a series that lasts more than 30 minutes. Not much longer, but hey, we'll take what we can get. An incredibly back-and-forth series between Nemutage, Nakuma and Dragonman, in which Dragonman's rogue seems to be his Achilles heel. In the final game, however, Nemutage gets his opponent down to 1 health, fatigue just falling short of winning him the game, and then Dragonman's muscle memory kicks in, easily clutching the game with a quick garrote lethal. No matter what the results of our semi-final, we were guaranteed yet another Chinese finalist and an explosive end to the final MT of the year. To be perfectly honest, there's not much you can even say about Xiaoti's victory over Tianming. Tianming played well enough, didn't even draw that badly either, and yet it wasn't even close! Xiaoti simply felt like he was playing on easy mode, like he was playing Quest Rogue vs Odd Warrior. A reference that I now see will alienate half our viewers. Oh man, when did I get so old? Excuse me. With that win, Xiaoti sails through to the finals and is only 1 series away from going 12-0 and becoming the first ever flawless Masters Tour winner. Well, well, well. How the turntables... From one of the most one-sided series of his life to, well, one of the most one-sided series of his life. Zloy Gruzhin's full anti-aggro lineup this time is not facing aggro, but combo. Every single one of his decks gets countered by every single one of Dragonman's decks. And while it's not the way he wanted to end his run, Zloy Gruzhin ends his 2nd ever MT with a 74% win rate and a spot in Grandmasters. Not bad going. Dragonman had a very tidy 10-2 record this tournament. We've already seen one of those losses at the hands of Xiaoti, and the other loss? Also at the hands of Xiaoti. He's got big hands, okay? And speaking of big hands, it's OTK Demon Hunter up first for Xiaoti, rapidly drawing almost his entire deck, while Dragonman's Garrote Rogue doesn't even get over the start line. Xiaoti makes fantastic use of one of Warlock's best new toys in the next game, Shadowblade Slinger versus the Druid, clearing the board turn after turn before going for the kill. And then in the final moments, just when it looks like Dragonman might finally have a winning hand, the Celestial Alignment gives Xiaoti just enough time to clutch out the win with his Pirate Warrior, crowning him our Masters Tour Undercity champion. A huge congratulations to Xiaoti on his flawless victory. And if you're a fan of Xiaoti, I've got good news. He might still qualify for the World Championships to be held on December 18th and 19th. And make sure you tune in because we'll also be announcing our plans for Hearthstone Esports in 2022. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then.